Alrighty. So thank you for joining me to do this interview. Could you introduce yourself really fast?
Yeah, my name is Sophie Johnson.
That's great. Um, so you work at Centerpoint. Is that like cool?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Is it
That's where I've
fun?
worked since the beginning. I've been there just a little over 10 years now.
It's great. It's great. I'm in the pre-med pathway myself, so yes, that's definitely down up my alley.
That's
All right,
awesome.
so I have a few questions to ask, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Um, so, how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, so I honestly, when I graduated high school, I thought I wanted to be a pharmacy tech. So I started working in a pharmacy.
Yeah.
I worked there for about 5 years during college, and I loved the job. I honestly just felt like I didn't have enough interaction with patients. So I decided to get a job at Centerpoint as a patient care tech just to see if I liked it. And I fell in love with that job. So I was a tech at the hospital. I started nursing school. And then after I graduated nursing school, I went to the progressive care unit, which is a step down unit from ICU. And I was in that unit for about a year at Centerpoint. Loved it. I learned a ton of stuff, but I just decided I wanted to do something more, just a little bit more adrenaline. So I went to the ER. I've been in the ER for about 9 years now, and just loved it. I was a staff nurse for about 5 years in the ER and decided I wanted to try to be a charge nurse. So I became a charge nurse. I did that for a couple of years, and then I was the manager. And shortly after taking the manager position, our director was moving on to another hospital to be an ACNO, and I applied for the director position. And at the first week of March this year, I took the director position.
Wow, very cool. That's really impressive. Um, where would you like your career to go in the
Thank
future?
you. It's been quite a path at Centerpoint, and honestly, I honestly don't know. I love what I do now. I want to continue growing and continuing to learn the director role. There's a lot to it that I'm still learning, of course, because I told job I took it, possibly being an ACNO, CNO, but right now I'm pretty happy with my director position and learning that. I love growing others and seeing them grow into the leaders themselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. And thinking about your daily work, what is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part of my job is definitely the team that I work with. They've shown so much resilience through COVID, and everything changes. I mean, we had meetings daily that things changed from minute to minute, hour to hour, and they've just been so resilient through it and just go with the flow. I love with our team that I work with, but I also love seeing the care that we provide to our patients. They come in to the emergency room with a true emergency, and we're able to relieve some of that stress and make them feel better, and not just the patient but their family. And there's no better feeling than that, than just making their day just a little bit better and making them feel better and making their family feel better.
Yeah, I agree. That would be very, very fulfilling. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Is there a part that isn't as enjoyable?
um I mean, I love every aspect of my job. Of course, there's days that are harder than other days, but it's again the team that gets you through those hard times, and you definitely learn to rely on them. And that's really your coping mechanism, is talking to your team, getting through those difficult situations. Of course, none of us like those difficult situations, but it grows us every time we go through them together.
Yeah, yeah, that's very, very interesting. Thank you. Um, what was the very first job you had?
Very first job I had was running a paintball field. My parents owned a paintball store, and my brother and I ran it.
What did you learn from that?
I think the biggest thing that I learned is that no matter what your role is at a job, there's everyone is depending on you and you have a key role no matter what that job is. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I learned. My brother and I were the only ones that were working there on the weekends. And so if we didn't show up to work, it couldn't function. And that was one of the biggest things I learned. And that's one of the biggest things that I've passed on to others, is that no matter what your role is in your job, it's still just as important as everybody else. And it takes a team to make it work.
I really like that message. Thanks. Um, Explain what your educational path looked like to
Yeah,
becoming where you
mine
are
was
now.
a little interesting, and it's been a little so whenever I was in high school, I actually did online high school. I played paintball and I traveled around the country. So I finished my high school online my last 2 years. And then after that, I decided, I wanted to go into the medical field, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Of course, I thought I wanted to be a pharmacist. So I started my prereqs, and then that's when I decided I wanted to go into nursing. So I got an associate's degree and started working as a nurse with an associate's degree. About a year later, I got my bachelor's degree. I went through an online school and did that. And then just this last year, I was able to get my master's degree, went online and was able to do that as well. I would definitely encourage everyone to do it, earlier and try to get it all done before you start having kids and get your career, because it is a lot harder. Looking back, I wish I would have done it all together and done my bachelor's degree right away and then got my master's degree.
Yeah, I agree. And that's really similar to this year, how everything is digitalized and
Yeah,
electronic. Yeah, so
yeah, everything's online.
yeah.
Yes.
Um, just wondering, what is your definition of success?
Honestly, my definition of success is being able to achieve my goals that I set for myself, but not only for myself, seeing the success of others that I've grown or worked as a team with. I like seeing them be able to exceed their goals or be successful in whatever they want to do. If they're wanting to grow in leadership and seeing them grow or take on new challenges, that's my definition of success, is seeing others develop and grow, and seeing projects work as we do them together as a team.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Um, what can students do now to help them prepare to get a job in this field in the future?
Honestly, do everything you can to get the best grades possible. It is a very competitive field, and they definitely look at your grades whenever you're applying to different schools. But if you're interested in doing nursing, becoming a doctor, pharmacy, get into hospitals and try to do some shadowing and see if those are the positions you like to do. Our hospital allows students in the hospital. That way you can shadow and see if it's something that you're even interested in. We've had a lot of students do volunteer work because they can see the different aspects of the hospital. And that has been very valuable to them. Whenever I talk to them and ask them if they've enjoyed it, they've all loved it. And they said that it was very eye-opening to see what the job entails into its entirety instead of just seeing one aspect of that position.
Wow, I didn't know you could do shadowing. That's really, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are ever interested, reach out for sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. This concludes our interview. I appreciate you being here and letting me interview you. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And if there's anything you need, don't ever hesitate to reach out.
Okay, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Yeah. Okay,
Have a
have a
good day.
wonderful day.
You too.